Okay. Good morning. My computer says it's now 9 Pacific, so we'll just get started. Welcome. This is the Healing the Heart of America class, part of the meditation studio at I Am Heart. Today is Tuesday, May 4th, and the theme of this course in general is healing through the power of our hearts. That means both healing ourselves as in self-healing, and of course, my ultimate goal is to inspire enough of us to get together and start working on the deep wounds in the heart of America or in whatever country you are living in. I see we have someone from Austria here. Hello, Anna. Nice to see you. And Tara's here from India. Thank you, Tara, for joining us. So whenever I speak of healing the heart and the wound of America, please translate that to your own country because the whole world is there. The whole world is there to be healed. And it's our great joy to be that vehicle of healing. Partly because anytime we do any healing for another person or a community or a country or a world, that energy opens up and flows through us first. So that's where we always say, it's better to give than to receive, because every time we are giving, we automatically are receiving at the same moment. So with that, I should just say, because I like to say it up early before we get started. So today we're going to work on racism. Of course, the initial practices, the AMHeart practices we'll do in terms of healing ourselves, but after about a half hour of that, we'll move into healing racism, which is a huge topic. It could go to cancel culture, it could go to systemic racism, it could go to the criminal justice system. Probably where we'll go, and everything changes as the meditations go on, is how we feel about racists of all types, not just against Black, but against Jews, against Hispanics, against Asian Americans, and just see what energy comes up within us. And we might find a way to move into holding a space of healing for everyone involved. That's the intention here. So with that, let's just, first of all, do me a favor and notice the state you're in. We've just been talking about racism for a few minutes, and that's, filled with issues and energy. Just notice the state you're in, and let's start a meditation from that state. So just sit up straight, allow your spine to be as erect as it you comfortably can be. Do not force anything. This is a school of the heart, a path of the heart. We're not about forcing, we're about allowing and culturing. So we're just sort of welcoming this erect posture, because as we elongate and lengthen our spine, straighten it, our spine becomes this antenna, radiating our energy more effectively and receiving universal energies more effectively. So, with that, let's just sit comfortably. And just put our hands on our heart. It's a very ancient and very powerful posture for meditating with the heart. And there's nothing we really need to do here, but if you're so inclined, I would invite you to just say good morning or good evening to your heart. And by putting our hands on our heart, we create a loop of energy from our heart out through our arms, through our hands, and then back into our hearts. And just sitting like this for a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes maybe, just check to see how your system changes. Do you get more awake? Do you get more settled? Do you get more peaceful? Sometimes you even get agitated. It's really funny. Anything can come up. And could we just allow the heart to heal whatever comes up in its own way, in its own time? Just let your hands down whenever that's comfortable. Keep it up as long as you want. And let's go into our second step of beginning our basic heart rhythm meditation. And here we just welcome our breath. We just sit, notice our breath. We're again saying good morning or good evening to our breath, to our lungs, to our bronchial tube, to our whole nasal passages. This incredible, incredible system that we have. It takes air from the outside, brings that energy inside. And as we breathe out this life-giving carbon dioxide, letting all the plants and trees flourish and bloom. When we do a lot of breathing, other toxins come out also. And could we allow those to come out and just allow the glory of nature to absorb them and transform them into whatever life-giving nutrient is most needed. And as we do this, just noticing the breath, how deeply do we breathe? How even are our nostrils? Check to see if the inhale is longer than the exhale, or vice versa. Work a lot with giving and receiving today as we go into this meditation. When we inhale, we sort of breathe in from the left. We receive, we exhale out through the right. That's how the energy flow happens like that. And ultimately we'll move towards having an equal length of the inhale, equal length of the exhale, equally giving, equally receiving. Now let's just shift our breath a little bit. Move it into what we call the full breath. And here we start with a full exhale. Exhale out, pulling the abdominal muscles all the way back toward the spine. And then just noticing how naturally and easily the inhale goes. Full gradual inhale, full gradual exhale. You may notice your lungs expanding more deeply. But again, never do we force. Don't force our lungs to expand even more. And we don't fight to make that exhale happen. We just allow it with a good, clear intention. It's okay to use your stomach muscles to pull back. And just check inside yourself. Just with a few minutes of breathing, sitting with our hands on our heart, notice what your experience is now compared to right before we started the meditation when we were talking about racism. How does it change for you? And there's nothing you need to be happening here. Nothing that has to be a certain way. It's just a time for us to look inside ourselves and notice what's happening for us. This is how we develop internal awareness. We just make a habit of checking inside and comparing one state to another is very useful in this process. You begin to see very clearly how much things change. They're very subtle, but very powerful changes. And before we start our basic heart rhythm meditation, I'm inviting everyone to connect to the teachers in your life. From whatever tradition, whatever background you have, what I'll do is, from the perspective of I Am Heart, the invocation by that great Sufi teacher who brought universal Sufism to the West, sort of stripped it of its Islamic trappings. This is Hazrat Inayat Khan, who really focused on the divine qualities of the heart and the one universal heart. His invocation goes toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the one heart, the spirit of guidance. And just as an intention for us, let me ask an obvious question. Any answer is right. But would it be okay for you if you become, or if you are, one of these great illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the one heart? Would that be okay with you? Can you allow yourself to see not only is there your own spiritual glorification in that, but there is an extraordinary sense of service in that. Would it be okay with you? Would it be okay with us, I'll say, because I certainly want to include myself here. If we move into such a deep state of alignment with the universal heart, with all the subtle and celestial and cosmic beings in creation, that we move into such perfect alignment that we become that expression of the universal heart in our own worlds, in our own lives. And so with that, let's begin our basic practice of heart rhythm meditation, where we connect the rhythm of our heartbeat to the rhythm of our breathing. And for most of us, that means 6 or 8 heartbeats on the inhale, 6 or 8 heartbeats on the exhale. Could be 10, 12, could be 4. Whatever is right for you. There's no judgment. And we don't struggle to make it longer. We allow that to happen naturally. So just begin. 8 heartbeats on the inhale. I'll just use 8, but whatever's right for you. 8 heartbeats on the exhale. If you can't feel your heartbeat, do not worry. It comes with time. For right now, you could just feel your pulse or even simply count. Most of all, don't worry about it. I assure you, being with a group of people here, we're all doing the same thing. What happens is we all spontaneously move into an entrainment with one another, to a rhythm with one another. It's a very powerful effect of group meditation. Doesn't matter how pure you are, how impure you are, how much experience you have or don't have. This is what happens in the dynamics of any group of people. And normally what happens is we all move into alignment with a person who happens to be the deepest that day. So some days we're very deep, and some days we're sort of shallow. The tendency is in a group we move to a person's rhythm was very, very deep that day. And believe me, nobody minds that. So yesterday, we started with a directed breath, where we explored the nature of the breath coming into our body. We let the air come in through our nose and fill up our lungs. But we realized that there's a stream of energy along with the air, the prana, the life force. And we separated that and allowed it to move directly into our heart from the front of our chest and then out, back out. So let's just go there again. We'll review this. We'll review a lot of things as we go along. Inhale, 8 heartbeats coming on the air coming in. And exhale, the energy goes back out to all of creation. Inhale, we pull in that energy. And exhale, move it on out. And is it okay with you, just as an intention, if we move individually and collectively into a rhythm of the entire creation? just by connecting these two basic rhythms of the body. Now, many of you, another very sweet practice we'll just add in here. Many of you already have this practice. But as you're feeling your heartbeat, some of you will notice there's sort of a lub-dub. And if you don't, believe me, do not worry. And my own opinion, by the way, is the sound of our own heartbeat resonates to the very deepest level of our being. You may have heard that, various sounds are associated with various divine beings. Mantras, they're called. My sense is that our heartbeat is, in effect, the mantra of our own being. And when we hear it and sink into it, it takes us at its most subtle level to the very doorway to our blueprint, to our soul. So in and of itself, it's a powerful tool of meditation. Some of us would like to connect to divine beings or to teachers. And one of the things you can do as an option is assign a name to your heartbeat. Usually it's a 2-syllable word that ties into some great spiritual teacher. So if you're Buddhist, you might have Buddha. If you're a Sufi, it might be Allah. If you've got a Vedic background, it might be Rama, Krishna, Amma. Could be Baba or Abba if you're Jewish, for a father. Could be Jesus if you're Christian, Jesus or Mary. At any rate, if one of those names resonates with you, as you breathe in and out, just add that. Just discover how you begin to attune to that master, to that teacher, to that being. And once you're clear on it, and it can change if you get inspiration. And it could be, by the way, an uncle or an aunt or some teacher that has had a huge impact on your life. It's entirely legitimate. It does not have to be a great spiritual being. And then you allow it to change when the time is right for you, when you're in a new phrase, or maybe you keep it forever. So now we want to shift our breathing practice a little bit. We've been breathing in and out of our heart, this directed breath. So now we want to go not just in and out toward the front, but we want to go in, fill our heart up with 8 heartbeats. The heart is full. Exhale out the back of your heart for 8 heartbeats, or whatever your number is. And then come back from the back, breathing, inhaling from the back, fill up the back of your heart to the count of your 8 heartbeats. And then exhale out the front. This is called the swinging breath. And it's a very healing breath. It opens up one of the vast dimensions of our energy, forward and backward. We have left to right, forward, backward, up and down. And then we have the inner dimension of our energetic system. So let's do that again. I'll just walk us through this. I'll just do the counting, but you do it whatever your rhythm is, if it's more appropriate. So in the inhale, 2, 3, from the front, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Full breath, exhale to the back, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale from the back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale to the front, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just continue that pattern. In from the front, out to the back, in from the back, out to the front. And notice that in this process, we are connecting the vastness of the universe in front of us, the material universe, through our heart to the vastness of the unmanifest creation behind us. We become, as the Chinese say, the marriage of heaven and earth. The vastness of creation connected through our heart to the vastness of heaven behind us. We'll also find the same effect up and down, to the left and to the right. But for right now, just continue this swinging breath, back and forth. Now the question comes up is, how can we use this deep, deep, deep connection with the energy in front of us and the energy behind us in our own personal healing? And the answer is that this is traditionally a breath that we use when we're looking for guidance. So what I want you to do is look at your life, look at your body, and what is it about it that needs to be healed? If it's a physical condition, that's an obvious thing. And if you're very healthy, just look at your life. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's your career, maybe it's your meditation, whatever it is. What I want you to do is, on your exhale, just ask the question one time. And then inhale, we pull in the wisdom of the universe. We exhale, take that wisdom back to the universal infinite heart. And we pull that wisdom from the infinite universal heart back into our being. Just keep on doing this swinging breath. We ask for guidance. Really only need to ask once, but if you won't feel like you could repeat it again, but that's just through the mind for the most part. What we're doing is we're inviting the wisdom of the heart to connect with the intelligence of creation and the intelligence of the unmanifest beings behind us. All those illuminated souls that we spoke of earlier. And the thing about guidance is just keep the breath going back and forth in this pattern. Inhaling from the front, filling our heart up, exhaling to the back. Inhaling from the back, again, filling our heart up. And exhaling that wisdom out to the front. But the thing about guidance is that we ask the question and then we let it go. We don't fuss over it. We don't try to control how the guidance shows up. This is all things that our mind does. The mind goes, oh, I want a clear, crystal clear answer. I want it to show up like this. You know, I want blazing neon lights showing up saying, do this. Would it be okay with you if you trust the wisdom of your heart to reveal this to you in a way that's totally appropriate, totally safe, and we allow the wisdom, the inspiration to come in its own way, in its own time. Sometimes it shows up as a friend just mentioned something, or something, there's a sign on the billboard that, driving by, it says, oh, let go of, I forget, whatever we could say. It's something on a billboard that shows up. Or sometimes it's just a deep sense of truth that arises within us. Would you allow that guidance to show up the way it shows up? Sometimes, particularly in the case of healing physical ailments, what will show up is some sort of nudging about an area in your life that you need to clean up. You need to ask forgiveness, you need to give forgiveness, or you need to find a way to love. It can go into very, very deep energies. But that's where the deep healing lies. And of course, we're looking for healing on every level in this class. So with that, you can just keep doing this breath or do simple heart rhythm meditation or whatever comes naturally for you here now as we move into that time where we invite up a topic that's challenging to the nation we live in, to our community. And one of the hot topics in America, at least, and I think it's worldwide, is this topic of racism. So just take a moment and notice what you feel when I bring up this word racism. Do you go, oh boy, can't wait? Or is there a sense of, ugh, heavy, don't know what to do, don't like being called a racist, which is what's going on a lot in America now. So let's just explore one part of racism, because it's such a big topic. Let's just explore how we feel about racists. So when you think of who a racist is, what picture comes to your mind? The classic in our culture is the heavily tattooed white supremacist with his gun. So let's just take that one for a second. But if that's not an issue for you, pick another picture and work with that. But we have that one. Actually, let's pick a couple others just so we have more equal opportunity here. So I'm reminded here of a stream of the Black culture that very much hates the Jews. I'm thinking of Louis Farrakhan as sort of the lead person on that. Actually, a great spokesman for the Blacks, and yet a lot of blaming of the Jews and hatred of the Jews. And who is it that is hating the Mexican, the Hispanic, South American cultures, the peoples? And the Asian Americans. So with any of these create a reaction within us, could you just welcome up that reaction? And check to see, are you judging them? Are you wishing they did not exist? Very natural feelings. It's okay to have them. Any feelings that we have are okay to have. That sounds like a simple statement, but boy, there's energy to it. Let's go to that one again. Could you give yourself permission to have any feelings that you have? Is it okay with you if when you were young, you absorbed racist attitudes? And I get a resounding no, that's not okay for me. I imagine that's true of many of you. So let's just explore that for a moment. Because I don't like it one bit, and I wish it never happened. I had a Southern belle for a mother, a really wonderful woman who was quite racist. And just as a fun ending to that story, one of my brothers married a very lovely Ethiopian woman. And my mother actually had to rise to the occasion, go through a great shift. So let's again welcome up how we feel about absorbing racist attitudes when we were young. When I was growing up, all the black comedians were like blackface caricatures. Amos and Andy, and I forget who else was there, but could you just welcome whatever energy is there, breathe into it, and in fact, let's just do this breathing pattern where we breathe in through the front, this directed breath into our heart, breathe down all the way into the very depths of our abdominal areas, this deep, deep subconscious part of ourselves, down to our root perhaps. The root is perfect, down to the base of our chakra, base of our spine, and then bring the air back up through our heart and out to the front. If you want, you can breathe in and down, breathe up and out to the back, like that. If it's too complicated, don't worry about it. what happens is in this root chakra, going all the way down, so I encourage us to breathe down into that root chakra. We sort of set up our tribe. It's this chakra of the tribe, of who we resonate with, who we are safe with. And just as a question, do you feel safe with the white supremacist with his guns? I get a no. So could we welcome that energy up? Just breathe into it and let it spread out into the universe to be absorbed by the universe. So could we just go back to this white supremacist here for a month and come back to our own different stuff? Check to see if you have a judgment. Check to see if you feel like you are better than that white supremacist racist. And that sense that you are better than that white supremacist racist, does that bring you closer to the one heart? Or does that block you from accessing and connecting to the one heart? It's just a question. And ask your heart, because it's really our minds that are saying we are better than that white supremacist racist with his gun. It's our mind that keeps us separate from that being. Ask your heart. It's okay to talk to your heart. If it's willing to connect with that being on the level of the heart. Or another way of asking is, does your heart want to be separate from that being? I think most of us will find that our hearts do not care about the surface of that being and only want to be one with that heart. Some of us may say, my heart says no, you be careful. I can't go there yet. And could you simply love that voice within you? You come back to this basic question of, is it okay for us to allow every feeling in our bodies, in our hearts, in our minds? Could you allow the wisdom of your heart to allow you to move into oneness with the white supremacist only when you're ready, only when it's safe? Could you look at this white supremacist through the eyes of your heart? And from the eyes of your heart, could you see that this being is its own unique expression of the universal heart? Could you see that this being, at the level of its soul, is an extraordinary, resplendent being. Taking on this role for its own evolution and taking on this role so that we can see our own hatred, our own resistance, our own separation issue, wanting to be separate issue. It's just an imitation. You don't have to go there. It's not safe. Again, looking at this being with the eyes of your hearts. Where are we most likely to influence this being? To let go of its fears of other minorities and to move into a place of love? Will we do that by judging and hating this being? How does that work for you? When people dislike you and they hate you, just resent you, whatever it is, on whatever level it is, do you immediately go, oh, thank goodness, I want to hang out with this person? Or do you just sort of spontaneously go and hang out with people you resonate with? Can you see, or let me just ask the question this way, are we more likely to influence this white supremacist racist by loving him, by honoring him, by connecting with him at the level of our hearts, or by judging and hating him? Which way is more likely to allow him to shift into love? So let's just try a little exercise here. Sitting in your heart, hold this picture of this supremacist, this racist in front of you, and just say silently, I love you. I love you. I love you. And check to see if you had any resistance to that. If you had any clutching, any not liking, anything saying it's not true, not true. I had you do that just to stir up all those feelings. So could you just welcome up all those feelings? See them as the equivalent of your own children. They are your thoughts. They are your feelings. Could you just love them? Allow them to be there. And watch and see what happens to them. And do you notice that all these thoughts and feelings have energy? And if you just wait and be with them, it's a way of loving them. The energy just shifts. Sometimes it takes a while. Really deep wounds. Energy shifts, and in that shifting, we move deeper into our own hearts. Put up that picture of this white supremacist racist again. I love you. I love you. I love you. Just notice the energy. Was it as strong this time? Or was it easier to say it and feel it and actually mean it? I know this is a big ask that I'm asking of you. If it's too much, don't worry. Just let it go. Come back to it another day, another time. Just explore it as a possibility. And some of you will want to hold on to this energy of being horrified and just really angry about the racists. You want to hold on to the energy and use it as motivation. I totally understand this, and it's totally fine. Is it okay with you if you do that consciously from a place of love? Not to dissipate the energy, it's fine to hold on to it. But are you going to be more effective acting from love or acting from anger? And I tell you, you can act with love and know that this wound is always there, this pool of energy is always there, and it's a friend, a tool for you to use. With that, let's come back into our hearts. Back into our hearts. And just allow ourselves to be here. Could you give yourself some love and approval for going into a very deep area of life? No matter what came up, no matter how successful you were at loving or not, doesn't matter. Could you give yourself some love and approval, some appreciation, and give your heart some love and approval for the courageousness that it lives in? And would it be okay with us to go forward for the rest of our day with this sense of the courage of our hearts? Courage of our hearts. Just take a moment to see whatever's up for you this day. And with your heart, could you greet whatever challenges you might have with the absolute courage of your heart, with the peace of your heart, with the deep love of your heart. And just come back down. Feel where you are in your body. Maybe feel your feet on the floor. Allow the energy to go from your feet into the earth and back up. Allow ourselves to be completely grounded. And just, when you're ready, be very gentle with yourselves. Open up your eyes and come out of the meditation. So I think this is set up. By the way, thank you very much. I realized I went way a bit longer than I wanted to for this meditation because the energy was just so intense. But thank you very much for joining me in this journey. I think we'll probably do that maybe once a week, work on racism. I don't want to work on it every day. Give us all sort of a ebb and flow on it. So at this point, if anyone's stirred up about anything in the meditation or in your life, feel free to simply unmute yourself and just say good morning and or good day. Or if there's some physical ailment you want to work on, some self-healing. Good morning, Anne.
Hey, Stephen. Steve, it brought up a lot for me, a lot of grief. I grew up in the Southwest, and I always heard a good Indian is a dead Indian. So it brought up a lot of fear and sadness. And when I was young, I asked my dad, "What kind of Indian are we?" He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "We were Indian when Indian wasn't cool. They had to do everything they could to hide it." So it brought up a lot of grief. I thought I could let it go, but I still have a lot left.
Thank you for speaking up. Yeah, I didn't even include the Native Americans in there. Well, thank you very much for bringing this up. Is it okay if we explore it together with you?
Oh yeah, I can feel the heaviness. Oh,
Yes. So everyone else, just whatever this energy brings up for you, or look in your own life, where were you discriminated against? For whatever reason. It might be ethnic background, it might be race, it might be what side of the tracks you lived on, whatever it is. So, Anne,
hmm
whew, can you go back to when you first, your earliest memory, it doesn't really matter which one, but an early memory of your father saying, or anyone telling you a good Indian is a dead Indian?
it just was always there.
It
Oh,
was
I didn't
always there.
realize. Yeah, I didn't realize. I'm afraid of white people. I'm sorry,
Uh,
but I am. I didn't realize it. It just really. I can feel it. I didn't realize it was there.
so, how early were you when you first realized you had a fear of white people?
I think it was pretty much always there.
So that means 3, 4 years old type of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Good,
Oh,
good. So
he's
it's obviously deeply embedded. And is it okay with you if you just go back to some little incident where it really came up strong for you, where you were, something came up where you were afraid of white people?
I just keep hearing the only good Indian is a dead Indian. That's just what I keep hearing.
So just go to that. Good Indian is a dead Indian. And the feelings that come up with that, can you just let them come up?
hmm hmm
Yes. And just let them come up some more.
Okay, here comes the grief.
Say that again.
Here comes the grief.
Good. So could you allow the grief to come up? And anyone else who has grief, she's taking us there.
Here.
Can you, good. So can you allow that grief to come up? And how do you feel about that grief? Are you happy that it's there? Wish it wasn't there?
Oh, I'm wishing it wasn't there.
Wish it wasn't there. Okay. And
hmm
does that wishing that it wasn't there allow it to leave? Does it make it go away, that wishing that wasn't there?
No, it's a way of avoiding it.
Right. It's a way of avoiding it, isn't it?
hmm
Yeah. So would it be okay with you if you look back at your childhood and you recognize that that grief and that fear was a very normal and natural reaction for a young girl to take on?
hmm
You can see that, can't you? We're
hmm
just discriminating here that you did nothing wrong in having that reaction of fear or of grief. Good. So could you look at this fear and look at this grief and realize that this is just discriminating? We're just using our mind right now. We'll get to our heart in a second. You look at that fear and that grief, and you recognize that the more you avoid it, the more you're just suppressing it and pushing it down, right? Would it be okay with you if you started the process of feeling it and healing it?
It's almost gone.
Yeah. So good. So could you expand your sense of your heart? Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, 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 yes.
And everyone else, I invite you to do this.
I can feel I'm contracting.
Good. So breathe into your heart, and on your exhale, just expand your heart out, or however it works for you. Allow that heart to expand and keep expanding. Now, about how big is your heart right now?
No, not like that.
About like that. Nice. Is it okay with you if your heart expands to fill up the room you're in?
There's some fear, but I'm letting it go.
Yes. Good. Expand it out some more. And from this expanded place, could you look at your grief, look at your fear, and does it seem a lot more manageable?
Yes.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Can you see that you are bigger than your grief?
Yes, yes.
Yes. And bigger than your fear. So could you, from your heart, welcome up this grief? All the times you felt put down, you felt disadvantaged, you felt fearful. The complete unfairness of it. Can you just welcome those feelings in? And is it okay with you if your heart accepts those feelings and transforms them? Is that okay with you, or would you rather just, yes?
I was welcoming in, and now anger was coming up, and I was letting that go.
So let it keep on coming in. Keep coming in and allowing, the heart can transform this energy into divine qualities of the heart. So as I was ending the meditation, I was going into courage, but you could be peace, could be compassion, could be wisdom, could be power. What would you like to develop in your life? What divine qualities, Ian?
It feels more like a oneness.
Oneness, good, good. So is it okay with you if you allow this energy to come into your heart and get transformed into this vast sense of oneness? And is it okay with you if you expand this process out into the world with your expanded heart and welcome up all of the unfair, discriminatory, angry feelings that the world experiences? Would that be okay with you if you become that person? All this individual energy is your doorway to that vast ocean of harsh, unloving energies. You trust your heart to only allow in what energy it can handle. So could you allow yourself to be very safe in this process?
Yes.
And even more so. And if you become a great source of transformation of this energy, not just for yourself, but for your whole community, and maybe even for the world, Would it be okay with you to look at all the energy that you picked up as a child as a necessary part of your moving into your spiritual fulfillment? You see that? That, we always talk about choosing your own parents when we get born, that sort of thing. Can you see that a part of your soul, part of your heart was choosing not just the parents, but the whole experience to allow you to step into a profound transformative role for you and your community?
I can feel it.
Yeah. And will that come from hating and resisting the people who discriminate and hate Indians? Or will that come from loving them?
Came from loving it moved into a self hate for being Indian.
Self-hate for you. Good. Let's work with that one, okay? So that self-hate, I'll bet you don't like it, do you? No, no. And yet, it's a part of you, isn't it?
I can feel it.
So notice the irony here. You hate this part of you that hates you. Okay? Would it be okay if we shifted that whole cycle? So this self-hatred feeling that's coming up, could you greet it with love from your heart?
Here comes the grief. I can
Yeah.
feel the community.
What it really is a deep wound of your heart that wants to be healed. So do you really want to hate the wounds that want to be healed, or do you want to love them?
Excuse me, love that.
Yeah, that's what we do. It's how we heal them. So is it okay with you if you just love this whole process even more deeply? That energy, pull it into your heart. And would it be okay with you if you become someone who knows that this deep wound was once in her? There may always be a memory of it, would be my guess, just from my own experience. But that self-hate does not run your life.
I didn't realize it was playing in the background like this.
Yeah. And that you welcome it up, you heal it, you let it go. It's still, the memory is there, but it does not run your life. That when you go and meet people who have their own self-hatred, you are then very capable of helping them move through it. Is that okay with you? Yeah. So can you see this as also a part of your spiritual growth? Now, the wounds we have are the wounds we need. And as we heal them, remember Rumi from yesterday. I don't know if you heard yesterday where he said, the wounds are where the light enters.
I don't know if that means the wounds are the what?
The wounds are where the light enters. Heal these wounds, we are filled with light, with love. Is it okay with you if you step more into your heart, loving all the wounds that you grew up with? You a unique set of experiences to connect with others, help and heal others. That's okay, isn't it? And all the whites who have discriminated, who more or less created the environment where all these wounds happened, how happy do you think they are?
I can see it. I can feel. I have compassion.
Yeah.
They hated themselves just as much as I did me.
So could you go to even more compassion for them? How much oneness are they having when they're excluding, an extraordinary ancient part of our culture from their oneness?
Mhm.
You know, what a wound for them to work on, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Be okay with you if you agree to them with even more compassion, that their own racism keeps them from moving into oneness.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So how much grief is there still?
Oh,
I couldn't quite hear what you said.
let's see. It's not so much grief, it's just the tightness. I was letting that go because my thought came was you are me and I am you because I could feel them too, you know? And then them is me. Hmm.
I didn't quite hear everything you said, but it's okay.
Hmm.
Just what else is showing up for you right now?
I don't know. I don't know.
Good. Could you let go of any sense that you should know?
Hmm.
Yeah. And is it okay with you if the stuff shows up whenever it shows up and you just heal it by loving it?
Hmm.
Yeah. Heal it by loving it. And is it okay, and I'll ask this for everyone, if we collectively right now pull into our own hearts a deep love for the whole Native American culture in America? Just breathe it in. Breathe in this ancient wisdom. It's a very ancient wisdom tradition. Breathe in the beauty of it, the sacredness, the sense of community into our own hearts, and just say, welcome. You are so welcome here. And take a moment. Let's reflect back on the Native American massacres. And Wounded Knee is probably the most famous because of the book. But there's all through Colorado, they had them, through the Dakotas, through and the things that happened to all the tribes in the late 1880s and 1890s when they took their children, sent them off to schools to assimilate them. So, can we just welcome up all of our shock, our horror, our dislike, our wishing it wasn't there? Our wishing it wasn't there makes us want to ignore it and push it away, out of heart, out of mind. Would it be okay with us if collectively our hearts opened up to receive this vast pool of pain within the Native American community? This fear, this sense of failure. They have a strong sense of failure that they're losing their traditions. This hatred, the grief, just whatever degree we can open it up and feel it, just welcome it up and love it. Welcome it up and love it some more. Welcome it up and love it some more. And could we, from our hearts, send a message of welcoming, of love and approval to every part of the Native American culture? I think we all love the spirituality of the Native Americans. Could we love their reservations? Could we love their poverty? Could we love the stereotypes of the drunken Indian, the lazy Indian, all these stereotypes? We know we love the stereotypes of the brave warriors, the great chiefs, the great leaders, the great wisdom they bring forth. Could we welcome up, pull up whatever resistance we don't like, the not likings, love those feelings, and just say yes in its entirety, in its wholeness? We love you. You are a part of me. You are deeply connected in the heart of America. And just let that go. Well, thank you for bringing us there, Anne.
You're welcome. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you so much. So does anyone else have an issue up?
I have a game, Stephen.
Oh, let's hear the game.
I've been in a couple of these wonderful immersions with you, and we did visit in one of the immersions this topic, maybe two of the immersions. So through today and Anne's wonderful way of journeying with us, the gain is just, I don't feel I'm part of the story of my father. He used to take me to see the Ku Klux Klan on his shoulders in Appalachia in Ohio. There's less of a feeling of wanting to be separate from that experience. That's a gain from the work that we've done up to right now. And there's still some wanting to stay separate. I notice in my body when I drive through North Philly, which is kind of an intense area. My daughter goes to university there. And I've been driving back and through those ghetto areas for about 3 years straight. There's less of a contraction in my body. But it's still there. I mean, definitely my heart still has me driving through North Philly often for a reason.
Yes.
So I'll just keep going with you and Kalimi and everybody.
Yeah.
So that's the gain. I'm growing through the heart.
Wow, nice. Would you like to work with that right now?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
North Philly.
North Philly.
You take North Philly on?
No, we're taking us on.
Okay, yeah, right.
We're taking us on. We're not taking on North Philly.
Yeah.
So everyone here, find some neighborhood that you don't want to drive through.
Sorry, guys.
Yes. Okay, or walk through. So let's just do it. Let's just stir up the pot here. So imagine walking through midnight, Friday night, Saturday night. We're driving through and our car breaks down. Call for a taxi or an Uber. They say, I'm not going there. Phew. And I'm just making up pictures here. So just notice what comes up, what reaction we have to moving into an unsafe neighborhood, particularly, well, it doesn't have to be, but generally it's got a racial component to it. You know, it could be a ghetto, could be a barrio. And could you just welcome that energy up? Bobby, can you welcome that up?
Yes.
Yeah. So there you are. You know, you're our bellwether here, our canary in the coal mine here. So there you are driving through North Philly, and that feeling comes up again. So do you notice that you're disapproving of yourself for having that feeling?
Yes.
Yes. And does that disapproval make the feeling go away?
No.
No. So could you welcome up that sense of disapproval and
Yes.
just be with it and love it?
Yes.
Yeah. That sense of disapproval, I'll make this up, but I think it's accurate. That's your mind wanting to keep you safe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. How is it for most people? Would it be okay with you if you allowed yourself to be safe even without that feeling of disapproval?
Yes.
Would it be okay for you to use your common sense to keep you safe instead of beating yourself up?
Yes.
Yes. And would it be okay for you to sink deeply within your heart and allow the divine principle of safety and protection to surround you and fill you?
Yes.
And everyone else, could you go into your hearts? One of the divine qualities of the heart is the protector, the one who protects. Would it be okay with us if, as we go deeper within our hearts, we awaken this incredible force, this universal principle of protection, and it becomes lively within our hearts? Would that be okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. Could you allow yourself to become good friends with this great being of protection?
Yes.
Yes. This being goes by different names in different traditions. With Christians, it's Archangel Michael. The Sufis, it's Yavakil, the one who protects. The Hindus have so many that you can't even count on them. But I'm sure the Buddhists have theirs. I know they do. I just not that familiar with them. So would it be okay with us if we saw this being as being part of the actual construction and making of our soul, of our blueprint? Is that okay with you, Bobby?
Yes.
Yes. And I'll tell a really great story. And I wish I knew it was a teacher that I got it from. I think it was a teacher of Kabbalah who said most people think that dogs exist because they're here to develop courage and loyalty, two qualities, divine qualities that we associate with dogs, courage and loyalty. And he said it's really backwards. Dogs exist because courage and loyalty want to express themselves. Would it be okay with you, Bobby, if you saw yourself existing because protection, among other beings, wants to express itself?
Yes.
It's okay, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So would it be okay with you if you move to a picture of yourself as being this combination of numerous divine beings expressing themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what our hearts are. That's what our souls are. One way of looking at it. There's a lot of ways you can look at it, but it's a very useful way. So as this being, this conglomeration of divine beings driving your car, driving through Philly, West Philly or East, whatever part of Philly it is. Would it be okay with you if you drove through there and allowed yourself to be completely safe?
Yes.
That's who you are. And is it okay if, as you drive through, aware of who you are and your essence, that blessing spreads throughout the neighborhood that you drive in?
Yes.
Yes. Would it be okay with you if you become a source of love, harmony, and beauty in that neighborhood?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You know, all these sages over in India that live in the jungles where the tigers and lions are and that sort of a thing. There's a saying, I forget the exact wording, but the essence of it is that as we go deeply into alignment with creation, coherence and peacefulness surround us. So is it okay with you if you drive through in a bubble of peacefulness and safety?
Yes.
Could you allow this to be a profound spiritual practice for you?
Yes.
And the way you access it is by loving that disapproval if that feeling comes up.
Yeah.
Okay? Whew. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Much gratitude, Stephen, and everybody.
Yeah. All right, my friends. I think our time is up. I am so grateful, really. May we all be blessed. May we all be loved. May we all walk with the very presence of our hearts, guiding and protecting us. Amen. God bless us all. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Hal Goldstein. Bye, Jeff. Love you.
Yeah.